Hi, this is Giuliana from Band Inc., and you're listening to Brutally Delicious Podcast.
How has music training influenced your writing and your performance?
For sure. So it definitely gives me another point of view. Before I used to write differently, and I didn't care much of the music that was. I did care, but I wasn't as nitpicky as I am now. I kind of look at it differently. When I write now, I kind of look at the music and think like, what can I add to make it, stick out more musically. Lyrically, I've always kept it the same. I am a very I go based off of emotions and past experiences with my writing, so that hasn't changed much. Beside maybe phrasing and melodies, that definitely does help. When you go to Berkeley, they teach you a lot of cool stuff for sure. But music-wise, it has changed because I look at different modes for music. I look at different rhythms. It's funny with Midnight Rider, the pre-chorus has a rhythm extra measure of 3/4 that I like to have fun with, and I used to not care about that at all before I went to school, but now I have fun with all the rhythms and everything.
That's cool.
You mentioned that a lot of.
Go ahead, Bruce.
I was going to say, you mentioned that a lot of the songs are personal. You ever feel like you're too vulnerable, or you've put too much of yourself into a song?
Definitely, for sure. And the reason being is I'm not very good at expressing myself through communication. I've always been kept to myself. I was always the shy one in class. So
Really?
yeah, believe it or not, it's something that not a lot of people know. I still am till this day. I kind of am quiet in my little corner, just writing music. But I've never been very good at expressing myself. I actually have it here. I've been bringing it to all the podcasts, but this is where all my writing goes. Every year I buy a journal, and I just, fill it with thoughts, experiences, ways that I'm feeling. And when I'm writing, I kind of look back on it, and I'll pick and choose like some thoughts that I had, and I'll try to form, melodies and work in the phrasing to the song. So it definitely is a way that I express myself to people, because music is its own language, and it really has helped me express myself.
You ever feel like you put too much of yourself into it, or like I can't, or how to stop? I can't put that out there.
Not really. I feel like I do. Sometimes I don't do like 100%. I don't do 100% of my feelings in a song. Sometimes it helps to add a little bit of it. Like for Midnight Rider, for example. I wrote that inspired for my grandpa, because he's a motorcycle guy. You got trouble, you call when you need. He's the guy that I call when I'm in trouble, So that would be probably an example of like bits and pieces of my life that I like to throw in. But something that I like to do is also write about, like certain situations. Like if I write something about, I've been feeling pretty down, I don't write everything about, my past experiences. I try to think, okay, what's something that people feel when they're down? Because I want when people listen to it, they could say, I'm going through that, and I'm glad that I'm not the only one who's going through it. And I can just hope that they can add it to their catalog or their, set list of music that they listen to, every day.
Cool. I've a rather strange question. How did you get into Dio?
Well, Dio's the rock and roll god. I love that, man. Who doesn't love Dio? I got into Dio. It's funny because my family's like a Beatles and blues kind of family. Like, they're not like this. Like, I took over this room. It's my studio. And, like, I came across... It all started with the Mighty Zeppelin. I kind of branched off of Zeppelin, just learning about all the hard rock bands that exist. And Dio has always caught my attention because of his lyrics and just his writing. He's so unique, and he writes about fantasy and not stuff that you Yeah, exactly. He's a very visual writer. You can imagine what, Rainbow in the Dark, like you can just picture it. And it's so cool because not a lot of writers did what he did. He did a lot of fantasy and imagery. And that I have a lot of respect for Dio, as a musician and as a songwriter. He's definitely a hero to me.
Yeah, me too. I had a COVID heavy metal cover band.
Oh my God,
and
wow.
we covered Holy Diver.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just, like Dio was before my time, so he was definitely before your time.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you get into these bands? Like I got into it because my older brother introduced me to him.
Uh-huh.
So who introduced you to Dio? Or did you just find it on your own because you were going from Zeppelin to this, to that, to this, to that?
I found it on my own. When I was in high school, I just wanted to learn every rock band, and there's still so many, but I wanted to get familiar with, who created the sound of rock that exists today, and Dio had such an impact on it, and I love that band.
Have you ever heard his old stuff when he was in like a doo-wop band?
Yes, I did, and I saw a video of it, and I was like, this is a legend,
What a transformation, hey?
It is.
Like from doo-wop to like a rainbow in the dark. And you're just like, where did that come from?
Exactly. And as a vocalist as well, like he's such a powerhouse. He was such a powerhouse of a vocalist. And for a vocalist, I just love, listening to other voices. He's just like 100% a rock star. Like he's a definition of a rock star for sure.
So segueing into legends, in our notes, I've got that you sang with Brian May of Queen. Is that true? And how did that come about?
I always say the answer, it was a type of magic. But it was definitely a lot of fun. It was a video I did in the pandemic, and it got a lot of connection through it. So, I always talk about Queen because Queen to me, long story short, I was like this kid in middle school, and you'll hear a lot about my grandpa. He's my hero, he's my best friend. But I went to his office one night, and I see this man in a yellow jacket on his computer singing to thousands of people at Wembley Stadium, sorry. And I'm just like listening in awe, and I tell him like, Grandpa, who is this man? And he's like, that's the greatest front man of rock and roll. And I was like, yes, he is, because I literally am just so in awe of this. And Queen to me is like one of my all-time favorite bands because, again, circling back to like writing, Freddie Mercury to me, he was like the greatest lyricist. And I know we talked about Dio, but as someone who writes a lot about feelings and emotions and past experiences, Freddie Mercury to me is like the greatest example of that. His love songs, his songs about his identity. I love Queen, so definitely, yeah, it was a type of magic for sure.
Okay, who's like a female rock singer that you really idolize?
Oh my God, Lizzie Hale. I love her.
Oh my God, she's so fucking good.
Yeah. Oh my God, like she's because for a girl who loves rock and roll, it's so amazing to see her, and she's such a powerful woman in music, and I love her, like her songwriting, her music, the band in general is just so amazing. And she's actually one band that I would love to see. Every time she comes by my area, I'm either out of town or I'm playing, and so much. I love her. She to me is one of the best.
Absolutely. Bruce?
Yeah, so Midnight Rider, the new single, but do you have anything following up that? What can we expect coming up?
For sure, at the end of this month, we're heading down to Nashville. We're going to record our first EP, and I am so excited about it because we got a ton of stuff coming out. It should be out. We don't have a targeted date yet, but it will be at the end of spring, early summer, maybe June, beginning of June. It should be out. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
So are you going to go the route? Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, who's doing the record?
So we're working with a studio. Oh my God, I can't remember the name. It's a friend of mine. It's a friend of mine. His name's James. He's going to record us. So it's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Cool. You can't go wrong going to Nashville.
You can't. No, it's a wonderful place. It's like Disneyland for musicians.
Yeah, yeah. Bruce?
So yeah. I was gonna say. So are you planning on doing then the traditional route of releasing an EP? Or are you gonna stick to the new model of the new music business model where they're doing singles every 6 weeks or something like that?
I am very as a musician, I love the classic way. So even with Midnight Rider, I decided to go with all just like guitar, bass, drums, and vocals. Like I love that classic rock sound. So I'm planning to go that route of just releasing the EP. Just 'cause even me as a listener, I love like getting a collection of music because I'm very impatient. Like I want to listen to everything.
Right.
So I just think it's fun, and the more I can record, the happier. So I'll be. So I'll definitely get as much out there.
Cool. Is it dark where you are?
No, this is just my basement.
Oh, I was like, man, is that a window behind her? And is that?
But it is New England, and it's kind of cloudy. I'm from Boston, so it's.
Yeah, I was like, you have such a thick American accent, but it's dark, and I'm like, where the hell?
Yeah,
What's happening here? I was so confused.
That is a window. I just I'm a musician, I'm a night person.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't like sun too much, but hey, as long as I get to, play my bass, and I'll be happy in my basement. So.
I know you said you're heading down to Nashville for the EP, but what's next for Band Inc. after that? Are you guys going to be on the road a lot, or what's coming up?
For sure. So we got a lot of shows coming up. At the end of May, we're actually heading down to Florida. We got a lot of shows down there. We got a string of shows happening. One of the shows will be opening for Liliac, so I'm so excited about that.
Nice.
Thank you. Then we'll be heading up to New York. We're actually opening for Liliac again, which will be a lot of fun. They're an awesome band, and we're just excited to share the stage with them. And then June, we're heading back to the West Coast. We got some shows in California. Opening for a lot of great acts, which is just so exciting, really. And then just, doing a bunch of shows here on the East Coast, definitely, goal is to, do a tour around the U.S. That would be a lot of fun, really.
But still, you sound quite busy, so that's good.
Yeah, it's I love what I do. I love music, so as long as I can travel and play and, make more music, I love it. No complaints here.
I just love the vibe of this interview. It's like so chill. Are you always this relaxed?
Yeah, it's funny because like I'm a pretty, quiet person. I just kind of hang out, and that's the way you gotta be. Just kind of relaxed.
That's awesome.
I'm very easygoing. I go with the wind. So
I get that idea right away.
That's great.
Yeah.
Chris, you got anything else?
Perfect.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Really dig.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for taking the time to talk with me. You guys are awesome for sure.
Okay, we'll talk to you later, and stay in touch and keep us in the know about shows and new stuff.
Oh yes, please let you know. Take care, guys.
Cheers. We'll see you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.